It is now time for us to introduce to you a very interesting fireside chat on branding in the age of social media, where our speakers will be discussing about building and tapping into cultural community, about innovating continuously using crowd culture. May I present to you Azmat Jagmal, Director, Marketing, Warner Brothers Discovery, and in conversation, Mr. Prahlad Kakkar, Director, Genesis Film Production. Let's look forward to this very interesting fireside chat.
I'll start off with a quick introduction on myself, and I think, sir, I don't think I can tire saying this enough, but really, I started my career in advertising, courtesy, inspiration from people like you. We've grown up, we've studied you, and that's how I began my career. For a large part of my career, I was with C, 12 years. And I like to call myself the born and brought up in advertising and media entertainment child.
You're the advertising child.
Yes, I am the advertising
of the new
M&E
millennium.
child.
And the new millennium. And you're also tech savvy. So that makes you even a better child.
Thank you, sir. That means that's really special coming from you. I did have my, this entire thing of, hey, let me explore some other mediums. Let me try something else. Let me try another industry. But I know how much I love this. And, I just, keep coming back to this. It's been 16 years now, a large part of my career with Z, some of it with Sony Live Consulting, and now heading marketing for Warner Brothers Discovery, Southeast Asia, across the linear and OTT services. And we brought this up in our conversation earlier while we were, chatting, the fact that, mediums and how relevant is one medium over the other, right? Social media, vis-a-vis this, vis-a-vis outdoor, vis-a-vis television. And in all honesty, this is something that I like to kind of, repeat very often, is the fact that these are mediums, guys. They all have a role to play. Outdoor has a role, television has a role, ground activation, digital. I don't think it's so much about one over the other, but how you're using the right medium for the right message.
Right message. So it's like this, a lot of young products today, for instance, what I've seen today, especially drinks, which are made by, say, a brand like Palace, who make a lot of soft drinks. They like outdoor.
Yeah.
And they find it very effective for them.
Yeah.
Much more effective than, say, even social media. Though I'm sure they're on social media, but the impact of the outdoor is enormous because everything looks larger than life.
Yeah.
And
summer is here when their campaigns are up, the outdoor campaign. It's the onset of summer.
Yeah. So every time I drive to the airport, I see lots of hoardings, and the ones that stick out are the ones that are for soft drinks, that are for products that are for the youth, because you find the youth also on the move all the time on the roads.
Yeah.
Now, what clients are really looking for is where they're going to get the biggest bang for their buck.
True.
Because everybody is trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel, and budgets are tight, and they're squeezing everybody for whatever it's worth. So they feel that if their target audience is between 15 and 30, or 35 also, that social media and Facebook and Google will be a great engagement. But what they don't realize is that you have to tailor your communication for the medium, because they're not a one-way process, as we were saying.
Yes.
They're a two-way process. If you don't engage with young people, their attention span is that of fruit fly, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You hold them for 5 seconds, and if you want to keep them further, you have to impress them in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you lose them. It's as simple as that. So unlike other media where they're captive, and you got them for a certain period of time because they're sitting in a movie hall, or they're sitting in front of a TV, or they're watching a cricket match, so they can't really switch channels. They have to live through your ad. And sometimes they groan, and sometimes they applaud. And what is applause is what goes viral.
No, that's true. And, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you say that. And, at least when I'm working with the team and the brands that I work in, there are 2 filters that we apply, right? How is it that we will distinguish the medium? There are mediums that are one way, and there are push mediums. Like certain mediums, you can still get away with the push strategy, right? They're designed for that. And certain mediums like social media, digital, etc., you have to create a pull over there. Correct. Which is a tougher part, which is a conversation which is not easy, which is a task which is not easy. And, you cannot buy out social media. I've been a part of enough campaigns wherein we've done enough and more influencers has resulted into very minimal returns. And I've been a part of campaign wherein we possibly earned 500 times the ROI on the money that we put in, and just to bring a light this
Absolutely.
point, I'll just take an example of something that is very close to my heart, because also we took something which is extremely alien to the country and Indianized it. And what I'm talking about is this concept called Say Yes to the Dress, which is an iconic international property with Discovery. In 2021, we were launching an Indian version of the show. So, we all went about, how is it that we make, how is it we Indianize it, what is it we do, and all of that. And there was a beautiful insight that the team, mined into. I would not like to call it chanced upon, because they really put a lot of effort into it. So abroad, the weddings are very,
Very
they're
strict.
ordered,
They're
they're
very organized.
wide.
They're
Yeah,
very organized. Yes, yes,
they're
yes.
very
They're
organized. Yeah, that's the term. Whereas in India, you think wedding, you think madness. Okay,
Madness,
there's
completely.
chaos, there's color, there's possibly a family fighting in some other room, and there's
Yeah,
enough and more happening.
घोड़ी लेके groom को भाग गया.
I have worked in Kumkum Bhagya as well, so yeah. So and something that's uniquely us is the Naj Gana, the song and
Right.
dance that comes with it, right? So what we did is we thought, let's create a Sangeet video. And the brief on this was this, that the brides should feel like dancing to this song on their Sangeet, or make a
Absolutely.
final entry to this, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And we collaborated with Badshah, and he created magic for us. And when we launched, so this is how we went about it. We first launched the song, popularized the song, and the branding is so subtle. If you listen, the song is called Sajna Say Yes to the Dress. If you listen to the song, once the name of the show comes very organically in the
Organically,
song.
exactly.
It is not a brand song in the true definition of the word.
Embedded. It has
It's
all
embedded.
communication has to be embedded. It has to
Yes.
be part of the logic, or the
Yes.
illogic of the show.
Yes.
It cannot be something sticking out like a sore thumb, because it will get
Yeah.
rejected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we landed it very organically. I, of course, had to, kind of field a lot many questions. Hey, why are we not putting the branding up front? I said, no, this is a song. Let brides own the song. If they own the song, they will own the format. That will be the outcome, right?
Then they'll own the brand. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And in a span of 3 months, we had more than 1 million organic reels on Insta, which was way ahead of the target that we set out.
Unheard of, yes. Unheard of, yes.
And it came to a point wherein in week 2 of launching the song, we actually stopped media spends on it because we didn't have to.
Because they were going viral.
Yes,
Exactly. Everybody was steady to everybody else. So it was a multiplier. That's what viral means. It was a multiplier.
Yes.
That's what viral means. Very few people understand the nascent, the birth of viral. The birth of viral is something that you love so much that you want to send it to your friends.
Yeah.
And it's spontaneous. The moment you realize that it's not organic, that is not spontaneous, that it's calculated, that it's trying to sell you some shit. That is the time you turn on and switch off.
And that is the thing that they don't expect. Like, why do I follow an influencer, right? As a consumer on social media, I follow a lot of people. And why is it that I forget my consumer behavior when I'm marketing something, right? The moment I see it to be a plug, I possibly don't even see that full reel of the influencer unless and until it's something really, really, really that's, really out of the box, which very rarely it is when it is for a plug, right? So that's where, it's a longer journey to make. It's a tougher journey to make. But how is it that you create your brand impression in a manner that social influencers want to talk about you? These instances don't happen very often. They happen few and far between, but when they happen, they're magic.
They're magic because social influencers also live off that.
Yes.
You see, you must also remember that when a brand goes actually organically viral because it has a great story, then when social influencers talk about it, they talk about their own personal, link with the brand, with the particular communication. Now, take for instance, you take Amit Sharma's Facebook ad that he made. We called Pooja Didi.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a long ad. It was about 1.5 to 2 minutes long.
Amit Sharma is known for doing those long ads,
No, and very, very beautiful small town stories.
Yes.
And here's a story in Amritsar about this little girl who runs this dairy farm or this mithai ki dukaan. and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And she decided that everybody is losing their job during COVID and she's going to give everybody a job. And everybody is against it. Her brothers against it. The old employees of the thing is saying, "Kya karenge in logon se? Ye to jante bhi nahi kuch kaam. Cheezein seekh jayenge." You know, so she has a very sort of ho jayega. Don't worry about it. You know, as long as these guys are secure. And then they get together and put a post up for her on social on Facebook saying that, you know, there's a girl called Pooja Didi and this is what she does. And this is what she done for us without even telling us. She sold her car because she wasn't making enough money and now going out on a scooter. And all that she done for us. So we want you to do something for her. And we want you to come to the shop and meet her. That's it. And next day there was a huge crowd at the shop. And the brother saying, "Kya ho gaya? That chori ho gayi kya?" You know, kind of thing, and goes running in and realizes that they're all well-wishers who all wanted to do something during COVID, but never got down to doing it. And when she did it, they just wanted to be a part of it,
Yeah.
and support her, you know. So that is the beauty of that whole program, was that in that they connected with everybody at some visceral level.
Yeah.
You know, not
And when
logically.
that happens, the connection stays, you know. In fact, that brings me, you know, I'm sorry if I'm fangirling once again to this
Yeah.
iconic line that you created, which is Ye Dil Mange More, right? I think
Yes.
it defined a generation. It defined a philosophy of it. It was not a tagline for it. It was
No,
not.
I'll tell you who coined
Yeah.
it. It was coined by a lady called Anuja Chauhan, who was the copywriter on Pepsi from HTA at that time. And she got this line and brought it to me, and I said, "Wow."
And working in the OTT space, especially, I think all the powers that be it the biggest OTT players across the world, they're recognizing the need to adapt to India, to localize to India.
Because we're a country which are unique. There is no country in the world like us.
That's
and you know,
true.
the only way to describe it is like this. You know, when you describe Africa, you describe it to its rhythms. Its rhythm is different. When you describe South America, its rhythm is different. It's salsa.
Yeah.
When you describe North India, the rhythm is Bangla.
Yeah.
And when you describe South India, the rhythm is even different there.
Yeah.
You see, so the entire cultural milieu is based on rhythm, nothing else.
Wow, I just love what you said, bringing in the rhythm element to it. Never thought about it.
Because if you latch onto the rhythm,
yes,
you've got everybody dancing on the streets. What more do you want?
That I spoke about, you know, the OTT players especially, you know, which is always trying to balance this between the numbers, the subscribers and the ARPU game, right? And somewhere India, even if you kind of touch upon the cream of the audiences, you are still holding a very sustainable business model, right? And, you know, right from the downturn and upturn of investments in India, be it in content, be it marketing, it's all coming back, right? You know?
And we are very price sensitive. And they must understand that we will be price sensitive until we become chola.
But
the people
on this point of price sensitive, I just like to, like, are we price sensitive or are we value conscious? Like, what's the right?
No, well, the right thing is price sensitive with value conscious.
Yeah,
so they will loosen their purse strings if they get value out of the bank.
They get value out of it. And I think that's the challenge as a brand, to create that value perception for the user.
That change is coming in the middle class. And the middle class is now looking for value. So from Fiat and ambassadors, they went on to Maruttis, and then they went on to other cars. And now when they buy a car, they do a lot of research.
Yeah.
And not only how much fuel it consumes. Because at one time, the only reason why you bought a particular brand of car was because it consumed the least amount of fuel. Now, that's no longer part of that syndrome. Because I remember Honda sold 1 million Honda bikes with one line: fill it, shut it, forget it.
Oh yeah, those are
You remember that?
Yeah, there's no quick fix. Like I'm saying, if anybody is looking for a quick fix solve through social media, I'm sorry, in fact, it's much tougher. Because like I said in the beginning, this is a medium that works on pull. The moment you try to hard sell something through somebody, it's going to fall flat.
Absolutely. You know, but even if you make it casual, if it's out of context, it's out of context. Huh?
It's out of context, yeah.
So all this trekker is saying is that, hello, while coming to my trekking site, I took a lift. And the guy who was driving this car was fabulous. I wish I could own it. And then carry on with that program. It's casual. But it's out of context.
Yeah. So I just out of curiosity, taking the social media aspect of it aside, who do you think is the biggest influencer in today's time? Somebody who's saying something can make or break brands.
No, I've always followed one of the girls from who were part of my office, and she then became an influencer. And that is what's her name? She talks about food, she talks about fashion, she talks about lifestyle, basically. What is her name? I'm forgetting. Give me a name.
About food.
No, she talks about lifestyle and food and fashion and everything all rolled into one. And she's one of the oldest influencers, by the way.
Is it Kusha? No.
No. It's her first name, and that's what she goes by.
Okay.
It'll come. So think about it, because to me, she makes a lot of sense, because she actually decides which brands that she wants to promote and not promote, because she tried them all.
Yes. So I must say that there are a couple of influencers, and I think that's it's great, because there need to be guardrails on the brand side, and there need to be guardrails on the influencer side as well, who have refused to work on particular projects, saying, hey, this is not my organic DNA.
Exactly.
It's like that.
Regardless of the money involved.
Yes.
And see, because what you're protecting, what they don't realize is what they're protecting is their own brand.
The brand in the long term.
Yes.
Exactly. And those are the ones that will survive. The rest will all drop out.
Yeah. No, that's true. So and it's always rare for such instances, but they have happened, especially in the last couple of years, where there was a slight more regulations, a little more, like now you need to put a paid ad or all of that. So people are a little bit more mindful, even brands and even influencers, as to how they're associating and in what capacity, the outcomes that they're expecting.
No, they have to be very careful, because there are two aspects. One is the brand value going down. The other is the government jumping down the throat and saying, what are you saying? It doesn't do what you're telling everybody it does. And therefore, we are going to prosecute you. And we're going to fine you 10 lakhs or whatever the sum that they fixed. And that's a deterrent. So people have to actually try the products before blindly putting them on.
They're being made a little more accountable for the fact that one is that it's an endorsement and there's been a commercial exchange on it that needs to be called out. And of course, then you have the whole guidelines that needs
so
to
the moment it becomes a commercial engagement, the credibility automatically goes down, because it's paid for. But it becomes, if it's funny, if it's quirky, and the way you embed it is natural, then people actually enjoy it. And they remember the brand, for whatever it's worth. But
which is, where we just, coming back to the same thing, fundamentally the brand managers still have the very fundamental job that they were doing from centuries, create a brand.
But the hard sellers, remember that one thing, they are wired to hard sell. And this medium does not accept hard sell. They have to understand that. That's a huge step forward or backward or whatever they want to take. But all the while in press, in television, etc., they're constantly saying, how many times does my brand come? I'm paying so much money for it. I've got 30 seconds. You're having.
Well, I will not be guilty as charged for this, let me just say. But yes, there are, that's a journey to be made. And brand managers are guilty of kind of over-indexing on hard sell, even on mediums that are not meant for hard sell.
No, because they become incredible. See, remember, they're dealing with youngsters who are very tech savvy and who are very smart. They're much smarter than what we were, because they have so much. You kids have so much exposure to media and to information from the world. The information itself is mind-boggling. The amount of information that you all absorb on a daily basis. You will reject something which you know is a hard sell straight away. So all hard sells to me are no-no. Every time a brand manager comes and tells me that let's do it this way, I tell him it's not going to fly. It's not going to go viral. If that is what you're aiming for, everybody's aiming for viral.
Aiming for a viral.
Yeah. So, but how many virals do you get? 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah. And even that may not have been designed to be a viral. It could be a viral in hindsight.
Because it's not supposed to go viral. I mean, okay, Puja Didi was something that went viral being designed, but it was so carefully done, it was so understated.
Hmm.
You know, and the Google branding was so subtle
Yeah.
in it that
Yeah.
it wasn't in your face.
Yeah.
Similarly, when Google did that Pakistan
India,
thing,
Pakistan.
no, about that
The two
Julia,
friends, they
two
are
friends who
separate.
come
Yes, that was Amit Sharma again, if I'm not
again,
mistaken.
Amit Sharma.
Yeah.
You look at how the branding is done. It's so embedded and so subtle that sometimes you look at it and say, was it for Google? What was it for?
Yeah.
The other one, Puja Didi was not Google, sorry, it was Facebook. But
Yeah.
it was equally subtle.
Yeah.
And both Google and Facebook are actually riding. See, everybody must understand that they are the actual instigators for the numbers. They're the ones who got it, and they're not cheap. Everybody thinks social media is cheap.
Not at all.
It's not cheap at all. So, especially when you look at all the major mediums. So, that's the whole deal.
So I think in some we can say that, you know, the good old fundamentals of advertising and marketing remain. You have to build a brand, you have to build longevity, and you have to use the right mediums in the right manner for what they're designed to do.
Thank you so very much for joining us for that very, very enlightening fireside chat.